Welcome
Holy shit, it's working.
to the Barrel Vision tier list
Podcast. Welcome to the Barrel Vision podcast.
Yeah, I don't know how else to follow up.
It's because it's the only intro that we really do.
Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be a tier list, as you can probably gather by the fact that you're looking at a tier list.
And you clicked on a tier list video because it's called it's got tier list in the title and in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And it's Saturday.
Yeah, which often means we make a tier list video. So if you've got this far and you are not aware that you're on
a tier list video featuring Tom.
Yes, Tom is here. So I guess leave now.
From trading tips.
Trading tips with chiseled wax. If you got this far and you still don't understand that it's a tier list video, dislike, because you're clearly doing something wrong.
Seriously, guys, this is a tier list video. This is definitely not a different video, okay? We're doing a tier list all the way through, so don't watch the whole way through just in case we change the video.
There's a weird noise coming through you. It's like...
I think that's me talking.
Just don't watch the video.
It hurts my head.
Whatever you do.
I can hear the birds.
Yeah, I don't know. Point is, you can't really hear all that backing sound that Harry complains about in the videos in the actual videos, which is something. I couldn't...
Okay, well, my experience is more important than the viewers, frankly.
Alright, fair enough. And speaking of Harry's experience, we're going to be using that to go through the mission types.
And not yours, because you don't have any, apparently. Is that what you're saying?
I was just making a transition.
You've never played any of these things.
I
never played any of this.
I don't know what game this is.
Although we can say Tom has only played 2 Industrial Sabotages.
So he'll be the main.
I've played the other ones though.
You have played the other ones, that's true.
Probably not that much, so either, right?
Well, actually,
Escort Duty and On-Site Refining probably lower than 100, which is the case for my Escort Duty as well.
Yeah. But your Industrial Sabotage, you've done at least 400. Well, we should probably stop wasting time so we can start actually wasting time. We need to figure out how we're going to rank these.
Okay. Well,
which, honestly, is the most complicated. One of the most complicated ones.
Normally we leave it for last.
Last time we did... Oh, not last time, but we did the bugs one. And even though that was an abstract way of ranking it, it still came to us very quickly and made a lot of sense. We ranked them in terms of how much they pissed us off.
Yeah.
It's not normal, but it also wasn't hard to establish. This one, I don't know, because do you need fun fact? One thing I put off the table is how easy they are. It's not a factor in how good they are. It will be, but it's not going to be. I would never use it in the main way ranking, because I don't think it's right.
I think, we do have to clarify that I think this may relate to, but I'm trying not to do, for at least this one, is not going to be, or it's going to be personal, but we're not going to be like, which ones do we like more? Right? I think it's going to correlate. The ones we think that are better, we are probably going to like more. But
correct!
I think, I don't want to just say that the missions that I enjoy doing the most are inherently better than missions that might just be better. So I think just to loosely clarify at the beginning, because normally it takes a bit of time to really salute us.
Do we have the rewards up for them? Can we look at that?
No,
because
Harry probably
some
knows
are
it off
better
by heart.
based on the reward to time taken.
I know that
ratio.
escort duties do give a lot more credits.
We'll get to that when we
they
get
take
to each
too
of them.
long.
Escort duties and industrial sabotages give a lot of credits.
Yeah.
To their credit.
Yeah, we'll get into them individually. I think, right, S, A, B, C, D. B is probably, it's going to be average, right? B is going to be, whatever it is. S,
no, average is 1.5 inches, right?
Yeah, Harry. S is going to be probably just godly. And honestly,
I don't know what's going to be an S.
I can't think of an S. Or like out the gate.
I feel like the S is going to come around once we.
Yeah.
Put
So which is why
elsewhere.
I think we should just start, and then things will become a lot clearer.
Wake hunt.
The first one, as Harry very nicely put it, is egg hunt.
Egg one. Quick one. What's in the eggs? We don't know.
Yeah, but you make omelets with it.
Everyone loves egg hunt.
For good reason, and I'm not sure how valid that claim is.
I want a mod that when you break the egg open, it goes ah.
Don't.
That'll make it S tier. Okay.
There's lots of mods that modify lots of things, but Egg Hunt, I think, really is. I mean, for me, definitely. And I know I just said I didn't want it to be like, you know, but it's probably my favorite game mode, tied with one other.
It's simple and it embodies Deep Rock quite well.
It is just.
It's quite manageable as well because you can take a while and make sure you do everything. Like if you get machine events or like bet seasons, just everything you could possibly find randomly spawning. You have plenty of time to do it because you can just sort of pause the mission by just you pause the
stop
swarms
grabbing
basically
eggs.
by just not grabbing eggs, and then you can chill basically.
Do
while
other
you
things.
Well,
it's just
well,
it's a good balance between
first.
fighting and not fighting.
But something I'm going to say about egg hunts, the general point, is that mining expeditions definitely have technically the most variety in terms of complexities and lengths that you can do of them. But egg hunt, to me, is the most difference between the shortest and the longest ones.
Because the shortest ones can be one room.
It can be nothing. It's like nothing.
It's not can be.
It's always two, isn't it?
Well,
it's always two rooms.
I wouldn't say that right. Because I've done a period of time where I spent a day just doing the shortest egg hunt missions, and generally you will spawn in the spawn room, and then you'll like one tunnel, and then you'll end up in like a small egg hunt room, which is where the eggs are. Right, that's generally what it is.
I saw.
But sometimes you can spawn
a guy who did a small egg hunt mission, and the drop pod opened up all the eggs as it was going down.
That is not surprising.
What the hell?
Uh,
That's awesome.
I've also seen a video where a guy has done a egg hunt without leaving the pod, which like
Bosco.
yeah, he like used the coil gun to dig to them, pinged the flesh, and then got Bosco to bring the egg back. But yeah, point is, egg hunts can be extremely easy, and they also be like they're probably the best representation of doing it at your own pace. The game doesn't throw swarms at you just while you're playing. You choose when to be attacked. Yeah.
Particularly.
Now you're kind of
and it's
right.
nice when you want to relax.
You're kind of right, but on the larger ones, egg hunts have the most. It feels like they have the most stuff right out the gate, mainly on the bigger ones. And they also have bigger ambushes, at least, or at least more common ambushes, either one or the other, than most other mission types, to make up for the fact that you have a limited number of actual swarms.
Which is also something I think it's pretty cool with Egg Hunt, is that, I mean, you mentioned, like, size-wise, it changes quite a bit as well. Like, the bigger Egg Hunt has a lot bigger rooms. But it does really get harder the more eggs you put on, which kind of makes sense. But, like, with Mining Expedition, it's just because it's really the closest to it in, like, simplicity. It's just longer. It's not inherently harder, but like 3 swarm egg hunts, like 8 eggs, or whatever. They really do feel tougher than a 4. Like a 4s feel incredibly easy, like a breeze to do. And I think it just has a really wide variety while being very simple and pleasurable to do. So it's definitely A.
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Because honestly, I think one of its strengths is that it can feel so different within the same mission type. That a 4 and an 8 could basically be different missions entirely. They're different in almost every way, in fact. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, I think.
It is.
In fact, they can feel so different.
A
it
very
is certainly
interesting and fun
It is the mission ever.
It is the mission ever, which really makes me think that.
Well, it's not though. We'll get to the mission ever.
Well, yeah, but I think if there is a mission ever, Egg Hunt might be.
No.
I don't see the other ones.
Your brain's not working, is it? It's in the name, brother. We'll get to it. So I do want to. So I think we can agree on A for now. I do want to give a brief history lesson.
For fuck's sake.
Egg Hunt basically used to be 2 different mission types split. Well, actually, Egg Hunt used to be linear. It used to be like a mining expedition, except you got eggs. And then the type of style of terrain and stuff in Egg Hunts now existed as another mission called Search and Extract, where it's like an egg hunt except you collect more kite. And they just decided to merge the 2 together. Or actually, I think there was like a version of Mining Expedition where you just collected eggs, and they merged that with Search and Extract to become Egg Hunt, and now we have it. I always feel like I'm saying a rude word every time I say Egg Hunt.
That's because you really
Egg
emphasise
Hunt.
it.
I didn't say it then. I definitely didn't say it then.
No, you definitely did.
No, I did, but on purpose.
Cool.
Speaking of cunts,
Thomas, our next thing
eliminations.
is elimination. Any opinions?
Eliminations. I don't know if I I dislike and prefer it than when they changed it, because it's nicer that there's more variety, but it's also annoying that there's more variety.
They're definitely harder than they used to be. Well, we talked about it on the podcast. My take is, my 2 cents, my piece of the pie. Elimination, the best of the 3 more rigid experiences, because it's older. So it lines up more with the older missions, despite being a more rigid experience, a more curated experience than Egg Hunts or Mine Expeditions.
You can. First of all, it gives Scout a real time to shine, which I love.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
As much as Scout's useful for the other ones, for the collection of the stuff, Scout's like most of his weapons have the capability for really high single target damage in a short period of time, and that is exactly what you want on a Dreadnought mission. And there's not as many other enemies, so it makes him even more effective. And the grapple, you can use it in the combat to make him more effective.
I think. Well, I don't disagree with you. I think you've also got to point out the same does work for Gunner as well.
But Gunner doesn't have as much single target.
Yes, he does.
He has more.
It's an age-old myth that Scout is actually better than anyone at anything.
Yeah, no.
Because Gunner is better.
The embedded detonators on the Zhukovs is better.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
but not inherently against Dreadnoughts. You could use them so wrong that they literally won't do any damage. Obviously, that's not to take anything away from
obviously you just don't do that, though.
Yeah.
The thing that Scout does better than everyone else is movement. His single target DPS is good, but Gunner can easily outshine him with more, in more ways. Scout's got movement. That's the truth of it. It's not anything else. Anyway, elimination. It gives both. I think it's both of those two's best mission. Really.
Yeah.
One of their best. Engineer used to be the king of elimination. Driller's better than he used to be. I mean, the cryo cannon was always good. The cryo cannon was always good, but the goo cannon sort of takes the cake a little bit, considering nothing can resist it.
That really fast grenade launcher overclock, or was it a mod or something?
It wasn't even that. It was just proximity mines and the fact that Dreadnoughts didn't have invincibility frames.
Yeah. You could just place so many of them.
Yeah.
And you did.
I
you
think
killed
they
one
are.
in like 2 seconds.
Whether you find the experience more frustrating, more difficult, elimination is objectively better after they added more Dreadnoughts, and they've been balanced a little bit since anyway. It's just overall like a great mission. You still have decent ambushes, so you can still have big groups of enemies to kill. Like you're never thrust into it straight away either, but there's still like things waiting for you like further like in the caves. Yeah. But it's always a nice start.
Although I think you got to kind of
stressful.
You got to kind of admit that like with Egg Hunt, as you mentioned, the 4 compared to the 8 is like an astronomical difference.
Oh,
but
right, yeah.
The 2 and 3 really doesn't feel it.
There's no difference. The only difference is the number of Dreadnoughts. I swear the caves are the same.
Yeah, they are. They literally are. They just don't spawn an egg in the third room.
Yeah.
Which then just means you have to go to the third room for what's likely the secondary objective or like some other event, and it's kind of an inconvenience having only 2 Dreadnoughts to kill, because most of the time an extra Dreadnought isn't going to make or break you. You know, like if you could deal with 2, you could deal with a third if you've been using your Nitro well enough.
And also, if you're really good at them, you can speedrun 2.
Yeah, speedrun 2 is like quicker than 3, but it still doesn't feel
they're just a lot of fun.
And
the newer boss fights, that's why I like the new ones so much. Like they're just so much more interesting.
Yeah, they are. They're just better than they used to be. really. Like, you know, they have the old Dreadnought, but they made him just better, and then they had
The only problem,
cooler ones.
The only problem of Dreadnoughts, and you all agree with me, they shoot when they're not looking at you.
That is my only issue with them.
It's so annoying. Like, they're looking at someone else. It's like, okay, they're not targeted on me, and then a fucking ball
literally
that can one-shot you comes out of literally nowhere because it's covered by it.
Yeah,
you can't see it because it's covered
out of
by
its
it,
arse as you're like trying to shoot it.
At you, and they have such big area of effect as well, and they're so fucking you can't go anywhere.
That's my general issue. That's my actual issue that I think, because like I think the thing them shooting behind themselves is sort of just jank, but something that really needs to be touched on is they don't telegraph the range of the AoE on any of their attacks well enough, I think. A lot of the Arbalest attacks and stuff, all of them have attacks where I think, I wish I could predict better where I'm going to be hurt and where I'm not going to be hurt.
Yeah,
so
you want to like dodge, but you don't know where to dodge because
not
it's
really.
Just so janky.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an issue. I mean, it's not really as a whole, but you just feel it a lot more with elimination, you know, because you're fighting the boss.
If they become more predictable, then it just means that it's like easier, but it doesn't.
It's like a Dark Souls boss, you know. You have to master their movement to deal with them with relative ease.
Yeah. And then it means that when you can learn the boss and then get better at it easier.
But even now, like
by learning mechanics,
Harry.
But now it's literally you just have to just pray essentially.
Yeah, like Harry's level 950, probably fought what, like thousands of dreadnoughts.
No, it's not. It's always less than you think. Normal dreadnoughts 798.
That's not less than I thought.
Hive Guard 145, Twins 155. It's like
almost
the dreadnought
1,000 total.
The dreadnought is Daniel. The Hive Guard is Cooler Daniel, and then the Twins are the Cooler Daniels. Also, eliminations probably have the most reasonable time spent, I think, to be honest. Out of all missions. Actually, refineries, I would say, are in the same.
Eliminations can drag if you... Or they're a kind of mission that you can fail, but you won't do it immediately. That it will be just a very slow, painful failure. Yeah.
They never take too long, I would say. They're in a pretty sweet spot. But I honestly still think they could do with more variety.
They bring something different, something that's amazing, because boss fights and Deep Rock are just cool.
Yeah, but genuinely,
honestly,
genuinely
poorly done most of the time.
You can't just do boss fights though, which I don't like how they keep adding. I think there's a bit too many bosses.
Well, we talked about this.
That is what I mentioned on like the podcast.
It's not a boss fighting game, and it doesn't work well as a boss fighting game.
Well, that's what distinguishes.
Game, but it needs.
That's what distinguishes elimination.
It is still a mining game.
Yeah.
This is why I think even more dreadnoughts would be awesome.
I don't think they ever will add more dreadnoughts.
No, they won't.
Because I'd rather them just come up with more inventive other things you'll bump into, like a Corlock. But I think for now, elimination with the touch-up they did in the update is definitely up there. Because once again, you can do it at your own pace.
So I just discovered that you can, like, in the best
You also get quite a lot of credits for it as well.
Yeah, I do think it pays out a lot. And Harry, shut up.
This is really funny.
And it's not that hard time-wise to do, because you can speedrun them as well. So, like, probably credits for time... Effort is quite a lot, but then also it's no effort when you're not fighting a dreadnought.
And the only thing
really high to really low effort.
And the only thing you really got to do,
nice.
Which is not even really an inconvenience, but you just kind of have to like have a build for them. Make sure you have single target damage. Really.
Well, that should just be a well-rounded build.
If you've got a full AOE build, you're not going to be any use at all.
Yeah, or using the flamethrower. Oh no, it's not that bad, but. Like, I don't know, just trying to set them on fire doesn't work. It is. I mean, he's not useless if you use, with the new sludge pump and some other things. But out of the lot, he probably does come out of it the worst.
Yeah, you should probably swap from Driller.
Not using the sludge pump, the wave cooker.
But it's fine that that's the case, because every other mission is Driller's mission.
You will notice that. And speaking of Driller's mission, I think Elimination A, all agree? For now, at least.
I was thinking B at first, but my heart says A. When we started talking about it, I was thinking, is this more B than A to... My heart says A. So if you want to put it in A, then I am I am for it.
I'm even considering S just because it's just so perfect.
It is.
Other than the...
It's very little things that can be done to make it better than it currently is.
Yeah.
If there was a real
better than
long
some of the
one-
other ones, just because of the credit to time ratio.
Yeah.
If there's a real long one, like 5 dreadnoughts.
Although actually no, the problem is you don't get as much gold and minerals in it, do you? The spawns for that is crap.
Yeah, I don't think they're amazing. But yeah.
That's a downside.
Speaking
Don't
of
get as many
cramped
minerals.
squads, escort duty. Actually, I'm not sure if that's the case. I don't really
Like
play.
escort, more like escort duty.
Nice, got him.
Because it's going to be in D. D for duty.
Okay, yeah, probably.
It just it's boring. It takes forever. Credit payouts up right, but then again, there's worse gold spawns, worse mineral spawns, so you don't get as much from the other stuff that you'd get because you also get credits for minerals mined, which you don't do. So overall, the insane credit payout just sort of substitutes all of your losses and everything else, and then it still takes incredibly long. But you can't speedrun it very well. It's just a pain in the arse.
Does it actually pay better or equal to Industrial Sabotage?
I think if roughly equal.
Alright.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you
Well,
the truth.
Because
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I made my opinions on escort duty quite clear, which is why this is going to be very biased. But I do
Avid
think,
hatred.
as a whole, it was a bad idea. First of all, no one likes escorting anything in any game ever, right? It's unbearable. And normally it's for most games, the things you have to escort, you just have to kind of be near to push forward. But now this thing has health, and there's enemies that can like insta kill it if they die near it. You know,
Menaces are a problem.
A lot of things are problems. And there's
A lot
so
of
many
things
things.
So like you start off, there's and you send it off, tons of fighting while you're on it. Then you stop. Now you got to fucking do the stupid shit finding the oil shale, which there never seems to be enough of.
There is,
And
remember
the oil shale when it came out was fine to get, and in fact it was better to get because you could like use like the mining EPC,
mining
satchel
EPC,
charges, and you could blow it up, and then you could suck it up, and I think you'd even get more. But
it was
but I don't
glitched.
think they should have nerfed it to lower. It should be equal. But you get less now from when you scoop it up from the floor, so there's no point in doing it. And that just made it so much more effective. Like, what is wrong with having a build that takes out the annoying labour of a game?
Yeah,
so that's not what people play the game for. They don't play it so they can get their fucking beam and that's not what people are playing it for. They're playing it for the fighting of everything else.
And even then,
what is
like,
wrong with
there
reducing the bad stuff?
The thing is, there is tedium in this game, right? That is a common thing. You know, mining expedition, you're mining the Morkite and building the pipes and refining, even though that's not that bad. Point is, like, tedium is a part of the game, but grabbing the oil shale is by far the most just.
It's not that bad.
And it's so annoying as well because it's like on the ceiling or something, like high up on the walls.
Yeah,
and then you have to throw the thing up there to get it, which is so annoying. It's just so.
And then you get up there, and you get left on like a sliver, and then you have to go to past cave to actually fill it up, finish it.
I don't think anything about that would be tedious if it wasn't for Doretta. No, Doretta is the main source of tedium. I think without overhauling escort duties, there's a pretty simple change. I think is that when
I think they should make
stationary,
it incredibly like profitable. Make it sort of work. No, but
I wouldn't play it. I still wouldn't play it.
It's not profitable. It's not profitable at all.
Most people,
the time you spend, you do not get enough. You probably earn less than if you
they don't.
Out miniature
We've
egg
done them
hunts.
very quickly. They can be done quite quickly.
Honestly, the thing is, the difference between
you got to grab, and then you got a boss fight at the end of it.
The difference between 1 fuel and 2 fuel is astronomical. 1 fuel is tolerable. 2 fuel, I would literally rather fucking kill myself than do a 2 fuel. It's unbearable. It's just terrible. It takes so long and it's so boring, and I just can't be asked to deal with it. And
because the Retta also moves at a snail's pace and takes the worst path.
Yeah, well, no, like it's like there are so many things wrong with Doretta in that, like, it also, the thing that I praise about air current and elimination is that you go at it at your own pace most of the time, right? You initiate the shit, right?
You can make it go faster.
Yeah.
As well.
Meanwhile, escort duty, it constantly is throwing you into a cave, and then moving out, throwing you into a new cave, and then moving on, throwing you into a new cave, until eventually you have to do the oil shell, and you would assume that's when you can recover. Like, you know, grab the oil shell, grab nitro in the past caves, all that.
Well, this is my point, though.
There is
either
still
too slow or too fast. Like sometimes you want it to go slower, so you can actually stop, so you can actually
well,
do
no,
stuff,
honestly,
like,
Tom,
in the cave.
that
or you
doesn't
want it to go
fucking matter.
faster.
Honestly, it really is just
you're
a fact.
sitting there bored.
It really is the fact that, like, I mean, yeah, it's just slow generally, but like, it really is the fact that it just constantly is pushing forward. Yet that's not this game. You go at it at your own kind of pace, and eventually.
But that doesn't mean there's not a place for something like that in the game.
Sure, but it needs to be very different to what it currently is. And this is all
my
I think
suggestion is, I was going to say, without having to change the mission completely. I mean,
you just need
it's
to
really
switch
the only
it.
way to for it to satisfy everyone. It would need to be completely changed. But if they can't do that, I would suggest, because of what you said about the oil shale section, if Doretta had a shield while she was stationary, it would add something.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because then at those points
you don't
you would
realise
then
that's the
be
most
able to.
tedious part, because
It
you
is.
have to leave Doretta, and then you often have to come back. If it wasn't as urgent to come back every time that she gets damaged, it would make a big difference, I think.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
because
And
yeah,
the ease of mining the oil shale, I want it back to how it was.
I think they should just get rid of the oil shale. It was bad. It's tedious. It fucking sucks. What I like at that point, I think they should just have it stationary and just like be charging. Which then maybe it's defended and you can go back to the caves or something. So you have like it's like pure burst of like action as you're like going through these caves. You know, swarms are attacking you. You're bumping into shit, which I wouldn't prefer.
Yeah, then if you
but
want,
it's
you
a
can
thing.
like, stop.
And then you would actually, it would stop. And Doretta is not important for now. It is calm down. You can go back. You can mind your own business, and you don't have to do the stupid fucking oil shell either.
Do the secondary objective if you want.
Yeah, or get nitro, or do the event if there was an event in the past room or in the room.
Yeah, but if you want to speedrun it, then you just press the button again and instantly go off again.
Yeah, and then you fight the waves and stuff, which is what people quite enjoy, because I did do like a poll on it. And people like that there's just a
I think it
huge
still should
fucking
be
horde.
made a little bit faster in the other regards as well.
Maybe.
But
But then
maybe the distance it travels slightly less overall.
Yeah.
So then you can go a bit faster because it just gets boring at this because it takes so long.
Was there anyone who said that it was their favourite mission type?
Yeah.
Oh.
More people said it was their favourite mission type than hated it as much as I did. Yeah.
Well, no one can hate as much as you do, though.
I think 11 people did. But there was like 20 something. I don't know. I'd have to look. Point is, this is so much tedium and boredom just to get to the final event. Just to have the final event be the same shit over and over and over and over again. Oh, it's a normal ass horde.
The fucking tower has more
variety, yeah.
More variety than the boss fight of a primary mission.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a normal wave, shock horror. Oh, there's rocks. Oh, there's normal wave. Oh, there's beams. Oh, joy is us. Like, it's a fucking waste of my time. I can't be arsed.
It's in the same way with the Omen. You look like it's good to look at it beforehand, so you can like sort of prepare. And I think you should be able to do that for the
Pardon
Omen.
me?
Like sort of find out somehow by looking at the environment what the other types are going to be, and then be like, oh, okay, so maybe at some point we've got the rocks, so we need to prepare for the rocks. That's like whatever, a new one that.
I mean,
okay, so you got that one. And they're of different difficulties, and the same with the Omen. Like why
Even if
can
you
they not
could
just do
summon
that?
just like different swarm types.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Right. Just different swamp types.
Can't even do that.
You can get like Praetorians, like Swarmers, Grunt, Swarmers. Well, I said Swarmers, Matera. Like that immediately adds variety.
Matleaves.
Not that much, but it would immediately add variety. And
It
then,
means you don't just turn off while playing it. 'Cause it's so bloody simple and easy. Like,
Yeah.
oh, now it's this stage. Oh, a couple of enemies. Same enemies as normal. Same stage.
coming
as
from the
normal.
same places as normal. Like it's just,
Yep.
it's so fucking tedium. But there's also then you could add
Tedious.
variety, whatever. it's so, the variety in the rocks and the lasers. Like, you could do so much shit, right? Why rocks and lasers? Like, have rocks and lasers, sure. And then maybe have Omoran golems that you have to take down.
The golem.
Kind of like bolts that, like, they slowly appear from behind the Omoran, and if you take it down or it'll fucking destroy it and shit like that. Like, that would be like, oh fuck. Like,
add stuff to what the Omoran actually is as well.
Yeah,
add more to the Omoran.
Like an Omoran spirit, like, possesses enemies, basically makes them like elite enemies. It like moves between them.
Sure. Yeah. Or maybe like
stages.
as like Tom said, maybe going through each Omoran like layer, like as you go through, the Omoran kind of adds an effect to the enemies around it. Maybe like you break through the first layer, it starts regenning anything near it. Its second layer is like Warden boosts them or some shit like that. Like the closer it gets to death, the more it defends itself by buffing the enemies around it.
Yeah, like it'll be equal to also elite. Having the
they could have that could be like one of the types of it. Then you could like work on trying to get rid of those buffs. Like, they could have like stuff that you'd have to destroy to then get rid of the buffs. And if you don't destroy them, then you'll get overwhelmed.
Yeah, and that would be like
my door. Sorry.
Yeah, right. And that would be like indicated by the Omoran. Like when you enter the Omoran room, you could tell by the environment what you're going to be going up against. Instead of just having the same couple strange spikes coming out of the ground that do nothing. Now, if you know they're going to be laser beams, the laser beams are already there, right? And you can't destroy them like yet. And there's going to be like, if there's like maybe some like bulbous Omoran stuff in the ceilings, you're going to get attacked by rocks. If it's going to be buffing the enemies, maybe the Omoran looks different. Like,
there's piles of rocks like on the ground around it. It's going to be golems.
Yeah. So the second you go in there, you can gather as much information as you can get, and then kind of deal with it, and it will at least be different and more engaging. And I dare you to say that doesn't sound more fun than it currently is.
Well, no one can because they'd be wrong.
Yeah. And like honestly, if all of that other boring shit, like getting there, is boring, if they make the final boss fight actually fun, I might not hate it as much. I probably still wouldn't play it.
That's almost how I think it should be, to be honest. Because what's the point in the Omoran existing if it's not easily the most exciting part of the mission?
Yeah.
And it kind of already is, but it's not really exciting anyway. Still.
I'm sorry about that. Some Irishman with a very strong accent wanted to buy my dad's van.
Oh,
just unprompted.
Unprompted.
Yeah, he just rang on the doorbell. I was like, "Is your van for sale?" I was like, "Huh?
Your van for sale? What's your van for sale?
Your van for sale.
Top of the monitor, your van for sale. I want to convert it into a
Did you ask the Irishman what his petrol escort duty was?
No, I didn't.
It fucking sucks.
It's a flaming sack of shit. It's a flaming sack of shit. I want to kill everyone who likes it.
Yeah. So I really do think that like it's just in every single level I can think of ways they could have done it better and made it more engaging. It is.
I don't hate it as much as you, but I know it's the worst.
Yeah, and then really, the shitty ass cherry on this shitty ass cake is that it is in every single assignment. Character, weekly, whatever it is, deep dives, it's always in it. There's always an escort duty.
I feel like it's not in deep dives that much.
It has sometimes. But yeah, not as much as assignments.
I don't like that in general that it forces you to do missions. Like, what if you just don't like it? Like, can there just be something that
a reroll token would be a cool thing to
have.
Yeah.
Can I just veto that? I just sometimes I just really don't want to do an escort duty.
I never would have done an escort duty.
But the problem is that shouldn't be the reason something like that gets added.
Yeah, they should just make everyone want to play every game mode.
Yeah,
and then the veto token would be useless. But if it's still in the game, it means that it gives the developers time actually, because
No,
it's
they won't.
instant.
I'm sorry. I respect the Ghost Ship developers as it is, but they clearly don't mind adding something to the game and then forgetting about it. And if you give them a token that will make people skip these things, no one will complain about them, and then they'll never get round to making them better.
Yeah, they definitely shouldn't add
People
rerolls,
kind of need
assignment
to
rerolls.
actively complain, be a vocal negative about things for them to actually do stuff about it. And a reroll will make me shut up, probably, because I won't have to talk about them. I'll just forget escort duties are part of the game. Simple as.
So, I think what we should say is that given that this is the only mission that we're going to be able to say these kind of things about, really, because it is the worst one.
It is.
We just need to be honest with ourselves. Put it in D.
I put it in D. It's
because we're not going to say anything this bad, but something else might have been C. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure.
It's next.
Actually,
It
I
has
know what
no
we landed at C.
qualities.
It's next.
Now, Industrial
Next in
Sabotage.
line.
Tom,
Oh boy.
you haven't really played it, but and I really haven't played it much either. I've probably only done it like 10 times, maybe. Harry has done it more than that.
40 odd.
Really, it's not that different to Escort Duty.
It's escort duty, but cooler, but also less present, which makes it cooler in a way.
It's Escort Duty, except they actually listened, or not listened, but the final boss fight has variety in what it does. You know, sometimes it spreads out short, like, you know, shredders. Sometimes patrol bots, sometimes sniper turrets.
Caretaker is pretty good, but the barriers still piss me off.
Yeah, because you know, data to packing shit is annoying. Isn't
those suck too. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, at least you get to fight Glyphids to kind of break into there. Meanwhile, with the Escort Duty, you just have to suck up some wall ore. Like, I don't know. Like, Industrial Sabotage is also conceptually... Well, even then, conceptually, it's not actually as cool as Escort Duty. Like, Escort Duty, you have a giant drill machine to break into the heart core of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
Industrial Sabotage, you're just fighting the thing that protects some data, right? But it still, execution-wise, does look more impressive, right? It is so grandiose in its design, which kind of makes the gameplay fall behind, which is an issue.
Yeah, this is what we sort of talked about. It's definitely the most grandiose mission, but that's actually the problem with it. Kind of. The reason it isn't is because the way that it's presented in game, it's not presented as a normal mission. But I don't like the fact that it basically has no chance of ever feeling like a normal mission, because it's such a specific experience.
Yeah. And they knew that, which is why they took.
I think it's why they're moving away from that.
It's never in assignments. It's never in deep dives. I mean, it was in one assignment. It was the final thing for the new industrial.
And in the assignment to unlock it.
I suppose, which is fair, right? But normally, bog standard wise, you're not forced to do it to promote a character or anything. Which there is something there.
I'd rather do that than Escort Duty.
I think it is slightly more interesting than Escort Duty, and it's not much better than Escort Duty, but really it's the fact you don't have to do it that puts it in safe.
I think it is better.
Yeah.
It's better. It provides, like, it's essentially a whole season's worth of content contained within it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a whole new category of enemies, a whole separate category of enemies from what you'd be fighting in Escort Duty, which is just the normal stuff, plus some stupid stationary fellas. And you have turrets, you have all the turrets, you have the caretaker itself, you have patrol bots and shredders, you've got all the robots, except Nemesis, which can't spawn on those for some reason. What's that about? What's that about, Because it'd be horrible, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I want to say about it now, because I genuinely feel like I used up all of my Industrial Sabotage talk during the podcast.
Yeah, so if you want to hear more about our opinion on Industrial Sabotage, it's somewhere in the podcast we made the other day. So, good luck.
So, we're putting it in C.
In C, but only really because it's better in like a few little ways, but it has more variety in the boss fight, and you don't have to play it, which is really my deal breakers. Like,
yeah, but even though it wasn't intended to be, to me it takes points off of it that it doesn't, like, it can't really be a normal mission type.
Yeah, but I'm saddened by that, because if it was a normal mission type, then it might have just been in a better Escort Duty. and then maybe escort duty could have been the one kicked out of the cycle, and that wouldn't that have been a win. But
Yeah, you would say that, wouldn't you?
here we are.
So would I.
Yeah. And now Tom can participate back because we've got mining expedition.
The mission ever.
I suppose.
What do you mean, I suppose?
Well, I know what you mean. That like
My expedition is essentially the premise of Deep Rock.
yeah, it's. Yeah. But I also got to admit that it rides the line of simple so much. I kind of find it just.
Yeah, I'm not a
empty.
big fan of longer mining expeditions. They're a bit of a bore. So, I guess we could start with the negatives. What sort of takes points off of my expedition for me is that I don't care for the variety that it does have, because as a mission, it doesn't change very much.
It's just room,
It just gets
corridor,
longer.
room, and that's like a short one. Then your corridor, room is then like a long one, and somewhere in between is a middle one, or maybe further up. I'm not sure. Point is, it's never really more than corridors and rooms, which is most game modes, admittedly. But mining expeditions, the corridors don't go back into themselves. They don't really do anything interesting.
Well, sometimes they do, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
just
not what
follow
you
it
signed up
along,
for.
and then if they're all going all over the place, you just get fucking lost.
Yeah, what I sort of give to Mine Expedition is that it's very pure sort of distillation of the premise of the game, which is you
Yeah,
are
it
just
is basic,
mining,
and
you
they
are
all need
mining
to be, like, there
and
needs to be
killing
a
bugs.
basic one.
I think, and I'm not sure what I would want to come from this, but I think it could do with a touch up. I'm not sure
I know,
what would
but
happen.
what could you really do?
I don't know. I'm thinking just more like variety of what, because of like more
But just adding more random encounters would change that.
No, adding new minerals to mine won't change a thing.
No.
It just-
No. I'm more terrain. Like, so it isn't just room corridor. Like, Morkite is such a flexible mineral.
You mean
you just put
like,
it on walls?
What I was talking about earlier could actually be a thing.
Yeah.
Search and extract, where it's like an egg hunt style cave. But you're
Well,
collecting
I'm
Morkite.
saying it could be any cave formation.
Hold on. I agree, and I feel like you're getting something pretty big. If they just made it so Mine Expedition could be on any mission's cave generation, that'd be really funny and probably good.
Yeah, I mean, escort duty would be an interesting one to have it, or that formation. Maybe just, I don't know, but because they're separate. But I do think that Morkite is such a nothing that you've kind of got to rely on what's in the cave otherwise to make it interesting. And
Yes.
the shape of the cave, and the biome as well, but the events and minerals, other minerals, stuff like that, is what makes mining expeditions engaging, not the actual Morkite. That's just the objective.
They're also just a good showboat for biomes in general, especially the longer ones. Although I have found that I particularly dislike mining expeditions and the sandblasted corridors.
If you're not a scout, they're pretty
Because
rough.
it's almost always a massive pit, and they suck. And they can suck me.
Morkite on Azure World.
It's funny.
Pretty hard. Can't see shit on that.
Oh, the shit I've ever done.
Yeah, Morkite.
It merges with the bloody.
I think Morkite could do with a bit of standing out. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think change its color, but maybe stick it out more from the wall.
It's just I don't care about the fact that it has like the most variations, because there's no actual variety between those things. There's variety in between mine expeditions, but the differences in complexity and length don't bring that variety. It's just gratuitous.
The
There's
mining
so many different
expeditions,
versions of it.
the mining expedition's complex and length really is the most basic definition of complex and length. It really does just do that. Like, it just makes the mission longer, and
it's
if
weird,
it's
'cause it's
complex,
like
it will just loop back
200,
around a couple more times.
225, 250, 325, and 400. So what's going on here?
Yeah, mining expeditions are they're I don't know, they're kind of like a boring person trying not to be boring. They're just like, oh, look at me, I'm kind of, different amount of mining you have to do, and caves and stuff. It's like, cool. Like, you are good, right? Like, it's definitely by no means an industrial sabotage escort duty, but I don't think it's anywhere. It's also not an egg hunt elimination. I don't think. I think it is middling. It is.
Yeah, well, that's why it's the mission ever.
Yeah, it is a mining expedition.
It also, I don't think it should be changed. It's sort of just there to be what it is,
I suppose.
And you can't change it. You can't really make it better without changing its nature. And its nature is kind of
I like
perfect.
that it's basic.
It's pure. It's what it should be. It could be more interesting, but it doesn't have to be. And I have more interesting times playing Mining Expeditions than I do escort duties. And one of them's designed to be the simplest thing in the world, and the other is escort duty. And yeah, escort duty is so much more boring. So I can pay some pretty big compliments to Mining Expedition despite its simplicity and the fact that its differences in complexity and length don't really add any value. It's just like it's the mission, it's the game, it's deep rock, it's mining.
But do you think it's A? Because I'm putting it B.
Same.
Tom?
It doesn't necessarily mean it needs any drastic changes.
God, you're a little shit, aren't you?
Well, he's not throwing us off.
No, we're still putting it in B.
I said B.
Yeah. So you think it's at the same level as egg hunt elimination, though?
Yeah.
Which I don't hate saying by any means. I really. They are.
It's also got the best gold spawns.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which means that you want to do a pot of gold, or like that gives it a unique thing, and the mineral spawns.
Yeah, but
I think
Egg Hunt's got it
well.
too. Hunt's got it too. Absolutely. It's not just Mining Expedition.
I think Mining Expedition still better though than Egg Hunt, just barely.
I don't think so.
Only
because you can get maximum length and complexity bonus, and you can't on Egg Hunt for some reason. Despite the fact that the big Egg Hunts is like 3 length, despite the fact that it's like usually just one massive cave and it's not 3 complexity, and they tend to be really windy.
3 length minings are always massive. There's more consistency there. I normally prefer a mining gold rush to. Gold
I think it belongs in B because it kind of is on the same level as Egg Hunt and Elimination, but it's just a lot simpler.
Yeah, but simple isn't bad. The game is simple at its core.
Yeah, but it's what causes my expedition to be less desirable than.
It's not less desirable.
Well, no, I think personally, my reasoning for putting it B, which is not that much, but
flawed.
The thing that Egg Hunt and Elimination has that Mining Expedition doesn't is the decision to have shit occur to you. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Egg Hunt, you can decide when to spawn. Elimination, you get shit.
Which is obviously preferable, but it's nice that if every game mode in the game had it so you pick the swarms and shit, I just wouldn't like that. It needs variety.
Yeah, that's actually something I like about Mining Expedition.
Yeah, it's
sometimes
good to
it
have
can be a bit of a roller coaster.
Like when you're doing an omen, there's ones that are better and there's ones that are harder and there's ones that are easier. But it doesn't mean that I don't want the harder ones. I mean, actually, I do kind of because they're a bit OP, but it's just that the some being easier or simpler or easier, just that variety is what makes the game good. And Mining Expedition is just simpler, but that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if
everything can't be really complex. They can't have all the game modes really complex because then it's like I just don't like which one likes, but all the same with like you all pick how you do it. That's why people have their favourites and stuff.
Oh, that's not. The thing is, Egg Hunt and Elimination are different. You know, like Elimination, you just
but
don't
they're all
have
different
swarms.
from what? They're all different from the baseline, which is Mining Expedition. That is the baseline that we compare everything to.
Yeah, but who says you need the baseline to be in the game?
Of course you do.
Well, then it's not a baseline anymore because you can't compare it. It is the most quintessentially deep rock mission, and it's simple. It makes sense. It's simple. It's simple again, as I said twice. But yeah, it is. It's just good. It is good. It's A.
Yeah, it feels like
it
you're
is-
wanting
it
to
is
be more
deep rock.
interesting when it just straight up shouldn't be, which sounds stupid.
If
but
you
it
want a
really
more
shouldn't
interesting
be
one,
anymore.
play a different game mode.
Exactly.
Then, what if you want something simpler? Well, you play Mining
But-
Expedition then.
Tom,
No, you
I
play Egg
mean,
Hunt.
in my
That's
opinion,
when you want something
right,
really simple.
B tier should not be seen as like, oh, this is a bit, oh, I don't like this. No. Something like simplicity is a very neutral attribute, and B is a very neutral tier.
I thought we were going A as average though.
No, B.
No, B is
yeah.
average, because average starts with B.
Average. Beverage. I'm thirsty.
Shot for it. Human is thirsty.
I could take a massive piss right now.
It's classic Tom. Fucking needing
Hydration.
sustenance, hydration, and food. Fucking
More than most
animal.
people, though.
Yeah, well, you need to piss every hour, so shut up. Alright,
Yeah.
I'm leaving my expedition in B, because I think Harry agrees with me.
Fine. I don't think it's that wrong putting it in B.
No, that's sort of my point. It's not wrong for it to be in B. That's what I was saying. I was explaining the B tier. It's not inherently a bad thing. Nothing bad goes in B. B is not for bad. B is for average.
Bland.
Bland.
Booja, booja, binga, jigga,
Alright.
binga.
Next one
Boogie.
is Harry, shut the fuck up. On-site refining. Why would you start? I'm literally talking.
Yeah.
I just like the
Bland
noise.
It's like the noises.
I just like the noise. Because Harry stopped,
On-site
I had to
refining.
make do.
You mean
Country
the
boys make do.
Oh my god. You mean the Miracle Child? The
On-site
outlier.
refining.
The thing that makes industrial sabotage and escort duty worse.
I love on-site refining.
Thank you.
On-site refining is fun.
Tyler, can you give me a sign that you're still there?
No.
That's not helpful. Okay. Right. You
Oh,
gonna say
you
anything?
suddenly stopped
I think
making
I'll go
stupid
first.
fucking noises, have you?
Did that a minute ago.
Yeah, for about
Yeah.
a minute.
Well, I only made noises for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, while I was fucking talking.
What the hell?
Harry, he seems bothered.
Yeah, because we're recording a fucking video. So what made you two think you could just do that?
Somebody put a stopper in it because you've stopped. Anyway, refining. It's like a normal. Well, not like a normal mission. It's like an original mission, which is why it's so bloody good. But it's also higher concept, slightly. It's a real. That's why I call it the Miracle Child, because it came out alongside that horrible thing that we call escort duty. But it stands up there with the best of them. Not a huge amount of variety, but also kind of a lot, because the small ones are really small sometimes. It'd be like one room. Like the big ones can get quite big, quite massive. And it's just like a perfect. Well, they are fairly combat light actually. But easily the best part about them though is that well, it's not mining in the purest sense. It's one of the best ways. It's one of the best missions for just using your entire arsenal, specifically traversal tools. It's basically the traversal tool showcase mission, essentially. It's just not everyone can shine, but it's just when it comes to manipulating terrain and using
Actually,
traversal
everyone
tools,
other than Gunner.
nothing really comes close. It's also just a better version of point extraction.
Well, it's a more interesting. It's a longer one. I like point extraction because of how just quick and easy it is.
Like me.
They're both good, but
Yeah, it's an easy A tier for me.
Definitely, yeah,
Easy A tier.
Easy. A tier. It's just so fun because I mean, driller can obviously dig around, and an engineer can build the platforms up for them. Both essential. Scout can then locate them in the first place, which helps. And then
Gunner still remains a valid member of the team. His traversal tool is.
Gunner's got really big guns.
I said that when it comes to actually building the pipes, his zip lines are technically more helpful than Scout. Scout can provide other uses in refineries.
Yeah, but because Scout's really useful.
But not really in the small
He can
ones.
find them in the first place, and then he can get to them to repair them really quickly, which then makes the whole mission go faster because he can just do the repairing quicker.
Yeah, I don't see how.
And doing the mission faster just helps in every way.
I don't know what I would criticise about them, to be honest. Except sometimes.
Nothing. I mean, actually, is there anything actually wrong with them at all? Like, they don't take too long. They're always interesting. Sometimes the spawns are a bit off for them. I'll give it that. But that's the case for everything. Like, that just is.
No, I just don't like it when the refinery spawns in a pit or too high up.
Yeah, that's
the
annoying.
refinery being in a nice place is really what you want. It's like it makes things. It usually just makes things more interesting when the wells are in strange places. But if the refinery can just sometimes when the refinery is just in a janky place, that's quite annoying. That's the biggest hit. But it can happen for the wells as well. They can be in sucky places too. But they don't really bring it down. They wouldn't bring it down from where I think it belongs in A. I'm not sure about S. I don't know. I also can't really say much more. Tyler.
What?
What's going on?
What?
Well, you go on.
It's
Anything.
alright.
Do you agree with us?
I mean, it rides the line between complex and simple. In that
Quite well, I'd say.
you are building pipelines and surfboarding, while it also
we didn't even talk about that.
very self-explanatory.
Oh yeah, that's fun. That's another fun feature. Surfing on the pipes, awesome.
I think if there ever was an S tier, it would have to be this.
I know. I mean, we leave it.
Doesn't
We said
feel
we would
right,
leave
though.
it for the end. It might feel right by the end because I don't think these next two are even going to be an A. Not for me.
What's your problem with point extraction?
We'll get to it. So, Tyler, do you have any real thoughts on refineries?
Alright.
Or just fake ones? Where are you going to put it then? A, because we
Sure.
said both said
A for
A.
now.
A for sure.
For sure.
Point extraction.
Yeah?
Converse.
No, you converse.
Well, why should I bother? You two just fucking...
How did you do that?
Mum's message. And? Oh, now you're being quiet.
I'm
What?
not gonna make a stupid noise if you start talking.
What do you want, Mitchell?
We need to help Mum bring the shopping in when she gets here in about 2 minutes.
Oh God.
Okay.
Right, Tyler, say your piece.
That's what she messaged.
I don't know. It's alright. They're all alright. Except Discord Dewey. I'm sorry, but clearly the wind has been taken out of my sails.
Alright, fair enough.
And
Okay,
I'm not
point
100%
extraction.
sure why, but the noises you made, or even noises you made, it's just like, come the fuck on. What made you think doing that was alright?
Because it doesn't matter.
Right, hold on, just wait. Leave this for later. Right, point extraction.
Well, no, it doesn't matter,
I'm
because
not
I'm
a
either
fan.
cutting this, or I'm cutting the whole fucking video. Because
Alright, okay, right, so... Sure, alright, I apologise. But we do it a lot, and you never seem that annoyed.
yeah, I don't know why suddenly it's gotten on my nerves, but...
But if it has, because that's the thing, it doesn't seem like it usually does, really.
I don't know.
But if it has, then I would see... No, if it actually has, then I would see need to be like, okay, fair enough.
We just... I don't know. Like, I get that we are by nowhere close to professional at this, or taking it that close to seriously.
I don't think we're right.
But, like, the one piece of like critique we have ever gotten is to not make stupid fucking sounds in the videos.
Is it?
It was the first comment we ever received.
Oh God! All right, okay.
And
no, dude, again, I'm not right. I just thought it was funny, and I've never really noticed you get annoyed.
Yeah, well, normally stupid sound, haha, funny, but you know, we're here for one reason only: to make bank. All right, and manipulate these fools that are watching our videos. And I'm saying this like they were going to hear this, but I can't really cut it because really it's too much at this point.
Why not?
It's too intertwined to the video. But yeah, I don't know.
The caption's going to be like tier list of missions, and midway through Tyler gets very upset.
Have a fucking breakdown. Yeah, I don't know. Just try not to make irrelevant.
It's videos, you know. It's not like people are watching this and they're just gonna be like sitting there like with their fucking in a suit, pens and paper, just like writing notes down or something. It's like
sure,
it's not,
but they're here to listen.
Of a thing.
They're here to listen to our takes on site refining, which was the beginning of it, and you were too busy basically screaming for me to even start talking about it.
We weren't screaming.
What? It's been so long, I barely remember what you were doing. But I don't.
I just went for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, Harry was doing it. I told Harry to stop because it get on my nerves because I was trying to start the thing, and then when I told Harry to stop, you started. I don't know what to take that as.
Sick.
Point is, fuck you, Thomas. You're never appearing in one of these videos again, and I fucking love point extractions.
Oh, okay. Do you? How?
I have made it very
I love
clear.
Point extractions.
Like
They're great.
I have done, as mentioned, egg hunts. I like doing like 4-length egg hunts because they're just kind of fun to hop onto and then complete over and over again. But if I actually want to play a full-on mission, there is no mission I prefer doing more, especially as driller, which is my main, than a point extraction. Because it really is, like, I don't know, because it's like, when I'm at this rig, there's turrets all around me, so I don't really have to defend myself while I deposit.
They also
Minehead
probably
is-
give
the Minehead is
every
pretty
class a time to shine as well. Like, even Gunner's traversal tool is useful in a point
Yeah,
extraction.
because there is very often giant gaping holes. Like, most of the, like, because I can think of like 3 to 4 like terrain formats that I've seen very often, and
so
most of them Gunner is useful to getting around on more than like
this is
most
sort of my
everyone
problem
else.
though with point extraction. It's sort of a weird one. Point extraction has the most predictable terrain. Like, I actually recognise the caves every time, and it makes them feel unnatural.
I think predictable is not the right word because you don't know what you're inherently getting into.
Well, familiar.
Yeah, I think familiar
The
is.
types of caves are always the shapes, like, because you always know what types of caves every mission has, but the shapes are recognisable between point extraction missions. Just like, I know this shape.
Yeah,
I've seen it before.
Point extraction has, like, you know, you're in the middle of a big funnel or something, you know, it just goes up like a circle around you. There's the rig's on top of like a cliff face that then there's a gap under, and there's this just diagonal one where it's literally just a like complete diagonal line. And it's just, yeah, kind of once you've done them enough, you do notice these things, and from then on, that's all you can really see.
But I understand what point extractions are. They're the speedrun mission, right? But that's kind of why I don't like the longer ones, because when they get out of hand, they really get out of hand. Like, the 10 ones, you have to speedrun. Otherwise, it will get out of hand, and you will die a painful death.
Yeah.
And gunk seeds suck.
They're not preferable, but then again, they're basically just the, you know, Quarks, just more of them now.
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot more.
Yeah. And they're also, I
Not
don't think they're
good.
amazing for spawning events either, which is a negative.
Oh no, well, it's bad for doing them.
Well, yeah,
Doing
that too.
events such as a seasonal event or a machine event, it's really awkward and awful. And chances are you get. I don't like how swarms work. I mean, it was actually the ambushes that get bigger over time.
Yes, that is how it works.
I don't like it though. I mean, I like it because it's part of what makes them the speedrun mission. But in general, I don't know. I'm not a fan of point distractions.
I think it's a weird.
I wouldn't change them though, because their nature is something that I find interesting, and they definitely have a place.
I think
But it's not my thing.
I think it is a weird decision, considering no other game mode really does have a time cap limit to it, or not really limit, but like the longer you spend, the harder it
Well,
gets.
it's definitely a soft cap because it gets to a point where it's not winnable.
Yeah, like no other mission has that, and point extraction. It doesn't really make sense that would be the mission they do. Like it's one big room and you have to collect the quarks. It's not that different from like an egg hunt or something, conceptually. But for some reason they decided, you know what, this mission, the longer you take, the more you'll get punished for it. Just for some reason.
Yeah, but no, it's fine though because it's not. Well, it's difficult for me because there's so little variety. In that there's only a 7 or a 10, and the 10 ones have a high chance to sort of go off the rails. So
you're always left with like 9 on those ones for some
to me,
reason.
it's always really uninteresting.
I swear the
but
10
also
ones are
tense.
just so rare though, because I just never get them.
Yeah, they are quite rare. It's not tedious. It's just tense.
Because that's why it's just a short burst of lots of combat in an enclosed area.
Well, that's what I like about it. It's the tension
Yeah.
is their biggest strength, easily.
I think
It's
they're a
annoying
really good
because
mission type.
I
Easy
just
A.
gotta go. No, sorry, I can't put him in A. That's my personal take.
Honestly, I
Not C,
do
though.
agree
I'm
with.
putting
I
him in
do
B.
agree with Harry. It should be put in B. There are definite flaws in point extraction. It's still my favorite.
Yeah.
But and I'm sorry, I'm gonna do salvage operation. And I'll come back. But
Well, so what we've put in
Yeah.
A, they're all very. You can like sort of compare all of them to other ones. Like Egg Hunt, you can compare to Mining Expedition. Point Elimination, you can compare to Industrial Sabotage and Escort Duty. Refineries can be compared to Point Extraction, but they're all just more well-rounded versions of those missions. I think more well-rounded and more friendly. In fact, not to say those elements of Mining Expedition and Point Extraction are bad. I like the fact that they're essentially roller coasters. You have to keep going and you have to keep moving, or you'll just fail. But that objective makes them less well-rounded. When the other two have much more, the other three, the ones that we've put in A so far, have much more self-imposed elements to them, the way that you go about them.
okay,
Well, I said something about how the ones that we put in A are all just more well-rounded than the ones below them.
I think that is a point. The egg hunt elimination on-site refining, you can play as basically everyone and do passable, which I guess is actually the same for mining. But I'm going to give up with that point because I realise that B is also the case. And alright, continue talking.
Continue.
Mint started salvage operation.
Yeah.
Everyone's favourite. There was a time when
I've forgotten what
very early
salvage
on,
operation is.
Mini
mini
meals.
meals. So
I
when we
just
first started
completely
playing-
forgot that was in the game.
yeah. When we first started playing, we actually had quite the what's the word? Issue with salvage operations. I remember
Not as much as we had an issue with the
disliking
Quark
them.
missions.
Really? I remember disliking those.
Well, first point extraction we ever did, we didn't listen to the fella, so we didn't know what
I
to
know.
do.
I remember that.
So we just waited like an hour and a half to die.
Yeah, I remember that, but that was like an issue in actually being able to do it.
That was
Salvage
an
operations,
issue in our
we
brains.
just didn't like them for a while, and salvage operations still have some pretty big issues. In that the latter half is either, I wouldn't say, I don't know if they're ever too easy. Even on solo, there's a weird amount of disparity between that finale. Maybe you should launch into the two biggest problems with Salvage Op. Is number one, the cramped nature of those sections at the end can cause just a mess. Like, you get into situations where you can't strategize, there's too many enemies, and you really can't do anything about it.
It's often the only point
also,
that single things can sweep as well. You know what I mean?
it's also the fact, though, that you have to do two of essentially the same thing in a row.
Yeah.
That's kind of just a big problem. One of those things needs to be changed to just be better. Maybe one, probably the fuel one, I reckon, should be changed to be a more repair thing, especially considering they added the wires. Maybe the wires can get damaged and you have to repair those, and you don't have to be within proximity of the fuel cell. That's probably what I would propose, like, just off the top of my head. So they're not exactly the same. Apart from that, though, I generally have quite good time with Salvage Ops.
The mini meal part, like, because comparing it to, I guess, like Escort Duty, Industrial Sabotage, because it's not, you know, it's that kind of thing. The collection of the mini meal is definitely the most fun way of getting to the final stage, like the final event. Like, it is pretty cool. Well, it's not really cool, but it's just possible.
It's rare, but things can get a bit much in those rooms. I mean, it's weird because Salvage Ops can feel quite big, but there's only really two rooms. It's a spawn room and the room. But that's another thing. Salvage Ops, they never feel that small, even though there's only two rooms, and you're never thrown into it straight away, either. They're surprisingly well paced. They sort of escalate, in a way. Very quick escalation, I suppose, between the stages. You sort of start off, there's nothing, and you go through the first tunnel, and it sort of opens out into usually quite a lot of stuff, actually, in the main room to deal with. But you can deal with it. You don't get swarmed. That's just how it is. There's no swarms. There are ambushes still, but there's no swarms. And then the last third, it's really difficult to call it a third, because the first third is literally just you get there and then you go through the first tunnel. But yeah, it just escalates very quickly in terms of difficulty, but you can still go at your own pace. It's a really weird scenario where I can't place Salvage Op. I think the reason why is they are fairly simple, but there's also a massive difference between what's going to happen, it feels like, more so than any other mission. You don't know whether things are going to go well or not, and it's sort of difficult to pinpoint exactly why. And I know it's really just a combination of those sections at the end being so cramped and so forced in terms of how you have to play them, and a combination of that with RNG just having the ability to conduct bullshit that will fuck you over in those scenarios.
Yeah, I think the only reason why we don't see it at probably the same level as Industrial Sabotage and maybe even Escort is, well, I don't think it's Escort, but like Industrial Sabotage is because
they always seem to have such annoying spawns on like spitballs and brood nexuses.
Yeah, there's quite a few things with big rooms, in all fairness, but I think
I swear to God, there's just so many.
There's so many always, but I think it is just like rose-tinted glasses that they've been around for so long. You know,
but they haven't actually been around since the beginning, which is a weird fact.
Yeah, but I think they've been around for about as long as we played. Right?
Just because the game on launch, or like pre-launch, like beta, is like so much different to what it is now.
Yeah. Which,
baby.
I mean, I'm surprised we even managed to play it back then, especially considering it had a serious crashing issue. Like,
it was
literally every other game. Even every game, actually, like in its worst spells, like we had to speedrun every mission because every mission would crash.
Yeah, and literally,
if we stayed there long enough.
The longer the mission went on, so basically, the more profitable it was, the more fun it was, the more chance it was just going to crash the second we were leaving.
Yeah, so all the good missions that we ever had, we crashed.
Yeah, and lost everything. And
it was just sheer drive and passion.
It's crazy how we played it so much. Like it was such a terrible game. It just never worked. It like probably the worst running game we ever played.
Yeah,
yet we
and
played it
frame-wise,
so much.
it was like 30 to 20 most of the time, wasn't it? As well.
No, it was
So-
worse than that.
All right.
No, do you remember?
30 to 20 is pretty bad.
So that was like, well, I mean, I was getting like 10 sometimes.
I suppose, yeah. But that's sometimes.
Not real low sometimes.
That
It's
was
crazy.
like big has 5 wave.
Yeah,
but
that
it
was
it
one
was
of the
like
reasons why we couldn't do Has
it-
5s.
it was like
'cause
30
the game ran so poorly that whenever we did a Has 5, it'd crash.
yeah, it was rough. Which, yeah, it makes you wonder how we played it. Well, we didn't play it much, right? Like really at all.
We did play it, not tons, but considering.
I mean, you did
we
most
played
of.
it quite a
You've
lot.
done far more of your playtime in that shitty, crashy ass version than you have the now stable, more
Yeah,
content
no,
version.
I played it like I think I don't know if I played it more than Harry.
Probably
I don't know
did
how
for a
I-
period of time, but Harry just kept playing.
I was playing it
Haha.
constantly on release. Well, it wasn't on
No.
release. We were playing it in
It was-
pre-release.
It was. We played it like on and off from I think it was like the first Halloween one, maybe. Pretty sure. The Glacial Strata stuff was added.
Yeah, well, that update was a bit before we started planning. It must have been because that update added Glacial Strata and Salvage Operation. What an update! What an update, by the way. I mean, honestly, although I think those technical issues might have been what soured our thoughts on Salvage Up for a time.
That might have been.
But at the
It
same
always
time,
lasted longer as well.
Salvage Up's so weird. I find them really satisfying, except the fact there's no real they're not particularly distinct between. It's always relatively the same thing,
Well,
and it's
the thing
always
is-
chaotic.
I think
Um,
you know there is also it's the same thing, but there is a lot of things. There's the getting the legs to the mini mules, repairing the mini mules, then doing the data thing, like doing that,
Uplink,
then the fuel
and then the fuel
cell,
cell.
and then the waiting a minute and a half, and there's just a weird amount of stuff in the mission, which I don't know. I mean, I think it makes sense that this was the last added of the older ones. You know what I mean? Because this is more.
It definitely feels like it.
It seems like they kind of just threw together a bunch of ideas and made Salvage
Yeah.
Operation. And I think, really, personally, I feel like I put it. I mean, definitely B or below. I think you can't really.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But I think it's getting rid of the rose tinted glasses, and it probably is sitting more at the sea.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like you could call it the industrial sabotage equivalent of normal missions. By the way, is all that background? You said something about background noise not being as bad on recording.
No, this is
what we
probably
hear.
quite bad.
Okay.
My mum's car isn't working, so my uncle's come round to jump start it, and it's been
Sick.
jump started, so now it's just constantly running in the background until she leaves. So basically,
So
let's
the guy
wrap
with
this
going
up.
ham with a chainsaw outside my house. I don't know if you can hear that.
No, we can't actually. You managed to keep that down. I think we need to get this video over and done with. It's quite cursed at this point. And
Yeah.
I've had enough.
Okay. The main problem with Salvage Up, and what I consider a big problem, is like I said, that last part where it's sort of two of the same thing in a row, and it just there's this.
Oh, it's not even the last
chaos.
part, right? You could do both of those things and it'd still fail.
Yeah, I
you
know.
have to wait
that
like a minute and a
yeah,
half.
I think that entire last 5 minutes needs to be changed because it's quite a big issue. It's a lot of forced chaos and forced pressure. Take the edge off by making the extraction basically instantaneous after you do the fuel cell, and make the fuel. Even if you have to make it harder in some other way, make so the fuel cell you don't have to be near it.
Yeah. I think
Then you've got a good one on your hands. But for now, it sort of gets brought down in some weird way. It's overall fine, but what's wrong with it sticks out.
yeah, I think it is just it's
seasoned
not
bad.
perfect. It definitely has its flaws, but I think we overlook it due to its age. And I don't know. I think it could do with the tinkering, like elimination.
I don't. I've come to like it more over time, so I'm not really sure that applies.
Yeah, but I think that's just you coming to terms with it, not it actually being better than it was. Like
No, they haven't really changed it in that way. The only thing I did was the wires, and that's like a thing I think they should take
that was
advantage
just
of.
that was just cosmetic. That was just like because how does it make sense that they're
Yeah,
pumping
but that
oil
to me-
telepathically?
Yeah, that to me makes more sense as to why we wouldn't need to be near it. We need to be near it for it to do that.
I think maybe
Like I think the
you should
uplink
be
module
able...
uses the uplink like modules in the towards like
No, we
armor.
have to be near it because it's a video game.
Good point, Tom.
But I'd put it in C, honestly.
I put it in C as well. I'm not even sure if that's just for like to equal it out. It probably does belong there.
By no means.
I definitely prefer salvage ops to point extractions, by the way.
Yeah,
but,
I very much enjoy salvage operations, but objectively, they aren't as good as the other ones.
It's also it's a very ambiguous type of experience. I'm not really sure what they're going for. I guess just wave defense, but it's a bit much sometimes. I don't know. It's weird one. Very weird. Very odd. Its weirdness is what brings it down. Apparently, I guess. You can see it.
I think
right.
it's just indecisiveness of what it actually is.
Yeah.
Meals are cool. Standing in the air is not cool. The weight at the end is a bit unnecessary, as on-site refining proved by just.
That would be my first change. Take that bit off. There's no reason for it to be there. There's no reason why the drop pod can't open as soon as the fueling process is done.
Yeah.
Shave that off. That would help. Anyway, yeah,
I think that was it.
Pretty awful, that noise. We need to wrap this up. Well, no, one last thing. Are we going to have an S?
Well,
we have to?
I think we have a definitive bottom, and I feel I want there to be an S and D, if only just to say it, really. Like we think escort duty is the worst.
I also think it's really cool if refining was in S because they've added
I
the same update.
We do think on-site refining is the best, though, don't we?
I do think it is, because
therefore it is S.
Yeah. And that is it.
It's like an original mission, but it's just more fun.
It is more fun. Or it's more complex. Well, unlike both of them are more complex than the previous missions. But escort duty went a boring route. On-site refining went a fun route, and this is the result. S and D, and then industrial sabotage went too far, and it ends up in C. But yeah, thanks for watching. Apologies for watching. There's a lot of editing to do. I'll try and do it.
Yeah, there is a lot, isn't there?
See
you Monday, I think, or Tuesday.
What are we doing Monday?
I don't know. Come up with something.
Stream again.
I did actually think of something. A mix up Monday, where we play a game that isn't Deep Rock.
Okay.
Not sure what that entails. We'll talk about it more after.
We just play Deep Rock.
No. Alright. Yeah. See you at least Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.